So you mentioned that your cousin was like talking about the watermelon
Yeah.
in Chinese.
Yeah.
So is it really a usual thing to see such a mixture of cultures within Tibet, within Tibetan families?
Yeah, I think.
So like every family is like mixed Chinese, Indian, and Tibetan, or?
Uh, I wouldn't say like we are all mixed so much right now, but just because we are living in these different countries, like I'm living in India, a lot of Tibetans are living in US, Canada, France. So in that terms, like they adopt the native culture over there as well. So in their day-to-day daily life, they never maybe think twice where they're heading with it. Like and like when I'm talking to my cousins or like my friends in India, we might be talking in Tibetan, English, and Hindi mix. We switch from like language to language is very like common like that. To
Yeah, I feel
happen.
like so. Yeah, because yeah, as myself as come from national minority, ethnic minority, we do feel like so. So we speak different languages, different cultures, different things inside our family. So I guess it's
Yeah.
the same for you, right?
Yeah.
So like with your cousin, you can speak. Do you know some Chinese words or?
No,
No, okay.
I don't know any Chinese. But yeah, like, and also like living in India, there's so many festivals in India, and we have our own festival being a Tibetan, but I have taken part in all the other festivals in India in that terms. Although, like, I don't have Indian blood in me, but just play along, like be part of like whatever is being who is celebrated, in terms of celebration. So it's kind of fun to be that.
Is that widely accepted? Like, if you partake in another culture's traditions, like, it's not seen as betraying your own tradition or, like, straying from the culture. It's just...
No, not at all. Especially in terms of Tibetan, I think, like, Tibetan people are very open-minded. So in that terms, I would give an example of, like, my own family. My grandmother actually married a British guy. Like, she married Scottish when she came to India. And it was the initial days in 1960, like 1964 or 65, she got married to an Englishman. And it was very early, to like accept someone from a different culture altogether like that. So I think in that terms, Tibetans are very open-minded. My father is kind of half-half, swings both way.
So you mean Tibetans are open-minded towards intermarrying even with Indians?
Yes, yes. You see quite a few of that. Even in my village, I have seen there are families with Indian and like Tibetan couple like that. And also like my own elder sister, my one of my cousin, although she didn't marry an Indian, like she lives in England, so she married a British guy. So like I think that keeps happening.
And if you leave, I guess, the community and, like, go to England and marry someone, do people tend to, like, try and still teach their children Tibetan culture, even
Yes.
so far away?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we still keep our culture alive. Like, so even like the kids are like mixed or anything. Usually we give them Tibetan name. Like like my sister kids, they have Tibetan names, and in Tibetan culture we usually get a name from the spiritual leader. So there are like 3-4 big spiritual leaders that we go to, one common one being Dalai Lama that everyone knows. So every Tibetan name, which is like Tenzin something, is given by Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So one of my cousin's son, his name is Tenzin Kunchap, so given by Dalai Lama. And we follow the tradition of like not only keeping Tibetan name, rather going to a spiritual leader to seek for a name.
So is there any like set of Tibetan names that are fit for international usage? I mean, like your sister gave some Tibetan names, right? But she obviously wants her kids to be not like outsiders in their British British community, right?
Yeah.
So what are those names?
Yeah, my sister was very sure of not giving her kid's name something like Ngawang, which is like it's actually like Ngawang, but a lot of people cannot pronounce. So in like a lot of British people special pronounce is like Nuwang. So like my sister was really sure to like not give that name, so she wanted something simple. So Tenzin, she thought it was easy, and her daughter's name is Karma. So karma is like very international, people, there are a lot of people who believe in karma and stuff. So the one is karma, and another Tibetan name which I can think of is like Tara. So Selden, like these kind of Tibetan names, like it's actually simple to pronounce some of them.
Yeah.
Would there ever be a case of like giving a child a Western name but calling them like a Tibetan name in the house or like in their community?
Actually, not like sometimes if the Western name is required, it's kind of mixed, like so. My sister's daughter is Karma Coco. So like the Coco is the Western one. So like you mix it, like you mix the Western and the Tibetan, but like sometimes I think Tibetans are stubborn to put your culture in there somehow. So like, so it's like we use both the names, but like at home we usually use the Tibetan name more, but in paper the names are mixed. So at least the children have the option of going for the other name if they want to in future.
Yeah, that's quite flexible.
Yeah.
And like language, do you speak Tibetan only at home or?
I usually, so there is like in Tibet, there are different dialects of Tibet, which is different from the original, like widely used Tibetan language. In Tibet, I'm from the eastern Tibet part, so we have our own dialect. So in my home, I do not speak the normal Tibetan language. I rather speak my own dialect. So we, in terms of keeping the tradition and culture alive, we not only kept the local Tibetan language alive, but also the very, core rooted, like the dialogues that, usually the dialogues are the one that is faded easier. But I think we have kept that alive as well, because I speak only my dialogue at my home.
I was thinking the same, that an ethnic minority has to adopt, but also has to be stubborn to keep their culture not to disappear into the ethnic majority. So that's what I was feeling, like sympathy towards what you were saying, because I was like, yeah, we feel like same, because my name is obviously Russian because we adjusted to Russian culture.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm still having Korean identity because I have to keep it. So you were saying like Tibetans are really stubborn, and I think they have to. And they have to be. Otherwise, they will be like mixed into other culture and disappear.
Yeah.
And we obviously don't want it to happen because Tibetan culture is so unique.
Yeah. And also, I think there is a sense of keeping culture and tradition alive much more when you don't have a land.
Yeah.
So when you don't have your country, you want to hang on to something that you have, So I think people who have their own independent land and stuff, they do not think about their culture very much. At least not each and every individual keep the responsibility of, like this is my responsibility, my culture. That sense is not there in like general people in terms of that. But every Tibetan, I feel, they have a sense of responsibility that they feel towards keeping the culture alive. So they try to do bare minimum that they can do in that terms.
So they feel like we are the legacy bearers. We have to keep on like.
Yeah, we are like, yes, we need to keep it alive and not lose it. Because it's much more easier for us to lose it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like I think every Tibetan wish to go back, and it has been 60 years, but initially like we were like, we are not here to stay. We'll go back in 2 years, and later it was like we'll go back in 10 years. Like we'll go back, like and 60 years happened like that. So now I think people don't really think that we will go back, but like at back of the head there's always something, like there is a place to go back, even though you are not always thinking of going back now, you don't think that anymore, but at the back of your head you are like, I have a place to go back,
Yeah, that's the same feeling that we feel here, I guess. In Korea, we are maybe staying for a couple years, but then we have to go back maybe. So we have a place to go back, like the home place. That's what keeps us going, right?
Yeah. Sometimes my mom will joke with me, she's like, and I'm like, oh yeah, like we need to go back, like I talk like that more, sometimes, and my mom will be like, where? She's like, she's just kidding, like, but she'll be like, we have to start everything if we go back, like, and I'm like, yeah, like, we'll have to work hard, try to get a land or something, like, everything will be like from root, whatever we have here will be gone once if we go back. So yeah, but I barely think that time will come anytime soon. But the only hope is that change. The only thing that is permanent in world is like change, right? Change keeps on happening. So I think the change will come maybe sooner or later. Maybe like when I'm like 80 or 90, the change might come or any time. But like, yeah.
Well, let's wait for this moment. I'm dying. Hopefully, we're still young, but
yeah, like
still.
Learn whatever we can, like, I think one of the main reason which I have heard a lot of Tibetans say is like our culture is much more spread and people know about us much more now because we are out of Tibet. When we were in Tibet, people hardly knew about Tibet, and we were like, there were Cold War and like wars happening all over, but Tibetans were like, least bother about the rest of the country. We were very integrated and close, nation initially. So now that we are outside, I think we are everywhere and we are exploring a lot. So I think this is just an opportunity to explore, I guess, right now. Like, get as much as you can grab from other people and other culture, and change whatever you don't like in your culture. We have that liberty. Like, this is one thing that I remember from like what Buddha said. When I'm teaching you something, if everyone has their own brain, use your own brain. If you don't like it, then change it. You don't have to follow me. Whatever you like about it, put your own brain and put your own reasoning. If you like it, you follow. If you don't follow. So in that terms, I think when our religion teaches us that, so I think we are very flexible. So in our culture, whatever we don't like, we actually change it. We are very flexible to change.
That's cool. That's cool. Like inside your family, you can have your own culture.
Yeah.
Your own like way of teaching. So and you can pass it down, but your descendants can be like, no, I don't really like it.
Yeah, let's change it.
My grandma was wrong. Now it's different time.
Yeah, my mom's thinking and ideologies are completely different from mine, and my dad's thinking is like completely different. So we happen to argue a lot sometimes when it comes to ideologies and like cultures in that way, and yeah, we always try to come to a mutual point. So it's very flexible, but yeah, the core identity has to be remained.
Yeah, but how do you feel here in Korea? I mean, like, do you blend in, or do people recognize you in the streets? What do they say to you in this case?
Generally, people think that I'm Korean. I don't know why. Like,
Well,
I mean, people can think that I'm Mongolian or like any other Asian country as well, but they generally expect me to be Korean. Like even during the election time, like there were people coming to me in the parks and saying like press number 1 or like number 2, like support us, and I'm like, I'm not Korean, like I can't even vote for you, like yeah, the general thing here is like like they think that I'm Korean. And the second thing is like, when I say I'm from India, I generally say that usually when I meet someone for the first time and I know that I'm not going to see this person for a very long time, I just say that I'm from India initially, and they'll be like, how, like why, like you're lying,
why?
Like people.
Why?
Yeah. And then I go like if they ask the second question, then I'm like, okay, this guy has time, let me share you my story, come sit. Okay, like like if anyone asks a counter question when I say I'm from India, then I'm like, okay, you have time, come on, sit, let me educate you a little bit on Tibet.
Next time I see a person who says I'm from India, I'll be like, yeah,
Yeah,
I believe you.
I believe you. Like, I have like 2 cousins from Burman, like Burmese, like near Arunachal, they have a little Burmese bloodlines in Arunachal, right? Mm-hmm. So during my school time, I had in my school, I didn't go to any Tibetan school which was there for Tibetan students. I've been to international school with all the other Indian kids, so everyone was Indian, and there were two twins from Arunachal, and they looked different, and they were like mix of Burmans, and they were my senior, so they were like little sister, and that's how like we became brothers and sisters.
I could be your distant sister too, because my tribe migrated from Tibet like long ago, that according to folktales.
So
like
you're
even in
basically
Arunachal.
Tibetans?
Yeah.
No, but apparently some of the words are similar.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess if you're bordering countries and like share almost the same culture.
Yeah, like, and there are like some states in India that borders with Tibet, and they migrated like way before, like a lot of like more years before that we did. So the bloodline is mixed there, like near Ladakh and also near Arunachal and stuff like that.
Okay, so let's say thanks to Ngawang.
Thank you so much for listening to me and talking about Tibet.
Well,
And
thank you
your
for joining
contribution.
us.
Yes, thank you for spending so much time with us and all the difficulties that we ran into earlier.
It's actually like I can always talk about Tibet,
Yeah, I think we can film another podcast about that, but with a slight different topic, But yeah, that was really interesting to listen to, and thank you very much for coming today. We appreciate your contribution, and we hope to get like one more chance to talk to you in the future. So if you're up to,
hopefully something else,
yeah, thank you.
Thank
very much.
you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.